In this video, we're going to talk about the beautiful and fast-growing vine, the morning glory. From its stunning trumpet-shaped flowers to its surprisingly complex history, we'll cover it all. So what makes this popular garden flower so special? Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with what a morning glory actually is. Then, I'll give you a full guide to growing on yourself. After that, we'll get into pests and other problems, a really serious warning you need to hear, what the flower means, and wrap it all up with some fascinating facts. Alright, so first things first, what exactly is a morning glory? Let's break down the basics of this famous climbing plant. When you see a morning glory, you kind of just know it. They have these absolutely gorgeous trumpet-shaped flowers that show up in a whole bunch of colors. Pinks, magentas, that classic deep purple blue, or even just a crisp white. And the dead giveaway? Look for their distinct heart-shaped leaves. They create this lush green wall for all those incredible blooms. Now let's talk numbers for a second. These guys originally come from Central and South America, and they can grow like crazy, up to a whopping 4.5 meters in a single season. They'll bloom from early summer all the way till the first frost hits. But here's the really wild part. Each individual flower only lasts for one day. It opens up with the morning sun, and by the afternoon, it's already closing up. It really makes you appreciate each and every bloom. So, feeling inspired to get these climbing up a trellis in your own garden? Awesome. Let's dive into our next section, your step-by-step guide to growing them. Growing morning glories from seed is actually pretty easy, but you gotta do the prep work. You see, the seeds have this super tough outer shell. It's like their own natural armor. So, to help them out, you first need to scarify them. Just give each one a little nick with a nail file, or rub it on some sandpaper. That lets the water in. Next, you'll soak them overnight in warm water. And finally, once any chance of frost is gone, plant them about a centimeter deep. Now, to keep your new plants happy, they have a few demands. First, they are total sun worshippers, so you need to give them at least 6 to 8 hours of full sun every single day. For soil, make sure it's well drained, but don't go too crazy with fertilizer. And this is key. Avoid soil with a lot of nitrogen. You'd think that would be good, right? Nope. Too much nitrogen just tells the plant to grow a ton of green leaves, and you'll get hardly any flowers. And of course, these are climbers, so give them a fence or a trellis to grab onto. Okay, so your vine is starting to take off, but it's not always going to be smooth sailing. Let's talk about some of the common pests and other issues you'll want to keep an eye out for. Yeah, morning glories can attract a few unwelcome visitors. You've got your usual suspects like aphids and spider mites, which just love to suck the sap right out of the leaves. Then there are leaf miners. Their larvae make those weird squiggly tunnels inside the leaves. And you'll also want to watch out for leaf cutter caterpillars and the golden tortoise beetle, both of which will just chew holes straight through the foliage. Now listen up, because this is super important. There's a common case of mistaken identity you need to know about. The beautiful annual morning glory you want is often confused with its evil twin, field bindweed. So how do you tell them apart? The leaves are the biggest clue. Morning glories have those heart-shaped leaves we talked about. Bindweed? It has arrowhead-shaped leaves. The flowers are another giveaway. Bindweed flowers are way smaller and only come in pink or white. Knowing the difference is a huge deal, because bindweed is incredibly invasive. And speaking of things you definitely don't want in your garden, that brings us to a really crucial point about the morning glory itself. Behind all that beauty, there's a hidden danger that every single gardener needs to know about. Okay, let's be crystal clear about this. Morning glories are not edible. While the flowers themselves aren't really dangerous, the seeds absolutely are. They contain toxic compounds, and if they're eaten, especially in large amounts, they can be poisonous. So please, always store your seed packet somewhere safe, far away from kids and pets. So what exactly makes the seeds so dangerous? Well, according to clinical toxicologist Roseanne Gould-Soloway, it's because the seeds contain a chemical that is startlingly similar to LSD. If someone eats enough of them, it can cause some really scary symptoms, everything from severe diarrhea to hallucinations that require immediate medical attention. Alright, let's pivot from the practical warnings to something a little more symbolic. The morning glory isn't just a plant, it's a flower that's packed with deep and often conflicting meanings in cultures all around the world. This flower really tells a story of duality. Back in Victorian times, it could symbolize unrequited love, or even mortality, which is why you sometimes find carvings of them on old gravestones. But then, in Chinese folklore, it's part of this beautiful romantic story about two lovers who can only meet up once a year. And in a Christian context, that one-day lifespan we talked about is seen as a symbol of our fleeting time here on Earth. Okay, to wrap this all up, Let's get a lightning round of amazing facts that prove this plant is so much more than just a pretty flower. First, just try to wrap your head around this. We're not just talking about one or two kinds of morning glory. There are over 1,000 different species in its family. 1,000. And there are so many other cool little tidbits. Its scientific name, Ipomea, actually means worm-like, which makes sense when you see how it twists and turns as it grows. And get this, it's in the same family as the sweet potato. How weird is that? If you were born in September, it's one of your official birth flowers. It's also a huge favorite for pollinators like hummingbirds and butterflies. And to bring it full circle back to those seeds, in ancient China, they were actually used medicinally as a laxative. So when you put it all together, the morning glory is this incredible mix of opposites, isn't it? It's beautiful but fleeting, it's easy to grow but can be a bit of a bully, and it's totally alluring but also a little bit dangerous. It really does force you to appreciate beauty in the moment. Which brings us to one last question. Knowing everything you know now, will you be planting morning glories next season? Alright, that is it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.